Hi guys, so I'm trying to make a video under 5 minutes if possible to give you a brief synopsis of the social cognitive theory and then to give you some examples. And I'll give an example in this particular brief synopsis of nutrition and community nutrition. So with social cognitive theory, you're taking individuals' personal factors as well as the environment around them and then their skill sets, their self-efficacy, their ability to practice a new skill set into account as to what drives their behavior. So the personal factors could be your very basic knowledge and attitudes and your expectations if you enact this behavior. The environmental factors are the social environment, the political environment, the actual physical environment, and the environment around the individual based on like what are the policies of however you define that community or organization that set the tone for enacting that behavior. And then again, what skills do people, if it's a new skill, do they need to practice a new skill, and how confident are they in enacting the new skill to actually change behavior? So I'm going to give you an example of focusing purely on cognitive factors. Let's say that you have radon in your home, that you have a radon detector, and maybe you moved to a new home and you just forgot that this is something that you need to check your home for, right? If I were to have a campaign, if I saw in my community high levels of people getting sick because of radon exposure, well, maybe I'd want to raise their knowledge and their awareness, right, about radon and the importance of making sure that it's being detected in their homes, right? So in that case, if I were to have a health communication campaign, I'd really only focus on knowledge, right? Just making sure you know about this. And then maybe I'd give you, information, call this number, have, this group come in and check your home for radon, right? I'd provide that information for you. Hopefully you'd, feel like you've got the confidence to call that number, you've got the time to do it, you've got the financial resources to pay that, group to come in and check your home for radon, right? That would be an intervention focusing predominantly on cognitive factors, right? Knowledge, attitudes, expectations. Let's focus on something that might be a little bit more complicated, like nutrition and community nutrition. So oftentimes people like to think that the only thing driving why people eat the way they do is just they don't know any better, right? But think about it. If you've ever tried to change your diet at all, you probably knew that eating a diet fresh and fruit, like full of fresh fruits and vegetables, is what you should be doing, right? And that if you were to eat a diet, filled with whole grains, lean proteins, fresh fruits and vegetables, that you're going to have a healthier diet health outcome, right? Like diet-related health outcome. And maybe you've got really positive attitudes about eating healthy. But let's think about the environmental factors around you. Let's say that you live in a shared living space where someone's always bringing home, delicious foods that you want to consume, but that might not be the healthiest foods, right? Like, man, someone keeps bringing home the donuts and the pizza. I'm picking on all the really carby meals here. I'm not saying that you can't eat these, in moderation, but in general, if you had a diet rich in these super carby meals that tend to be high in fat and calories, right, you're not going to have the healthiest diet. Let's say that in your community you live in a food desert and it's harder for you to access fresh fruits and vegetables just based on your geography, right? Maybe let's say that you have a limited income and this is your budget to eat a healthy diet, and buying all fresh fruits and vegetables just isn't feasible because it's expensive, they go bad more quick, they can spoil, that food spoils, the fresh food spoils. Let's say that it's easier and cheaper to buy ramen noodle, right? Just highlight common college food, which is actually still really delicious. But we know it's high in sodium, high in carbs, and there's really just not a good nutritional value to eating those little packets of ramen, right? So if you were to intervene in some way and you want to focus on environmental factors, well, maybe you want to create a social environment that is more conducive to having a healthier diet, right? Like, we want to make sure that if we've got vending machines, we're only going to sell foods with this kind of nutritional content. If we're going to have a school lunch program We want to make sure kids have diets that are richer in vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, etc. So we're going to focus our program on creating an environment where what they have access to is healthier. Maybe we want to focus on transportation related issues. If there's public transportation, people are needing to use public transportation to go get fresh foods, maybe changing the route of a public transportation route so that it stops in front of an outlet that sells fresh fruits and vegetables. If someone's living in a food desert, maybe you want to start working on trying to set up a farmer's market so that people have access to fresh foods and vegetables in their community. If they're using some kind of program such as SNAP, right, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly called food stamps, right? Maybe you want to say at this farmer's market, you can get double the fresh fruits and vegetables if you use your SNAP benefits, right? That would be an example of focusing on environmental factors to change behavior. And maybe you just want to say people just don't have a skill set, like the healthy cooking skill set to create meals that are healthier, that last longer, right? Maybe you want to have a cooking demonstration or a grocery store tour to show people where to buy the healthier foods. Maybe you want them to have a hands-on experience actually preparing the food, right? So they can build their self-confidence to create these healthier foods. Those are just examples of different types of interventions that would target, again, cognitive factors, environmental factors, and then this behavioral factors and skills to therefore change human behavior. Now, in your interventions, you could choose to focus just on cognitive factors, just on environmental factors, a combination of the two, maybe behavioral factors alone. That's up to you. But again, I just wanted to provide a brief overview of how this particular theory believes that health behaviors are made and also changed. Thanks.